Namaste, and welcome to the 2019 Ascension Symptoms. I am Sri Ramka.
And I am Kira Ra, and you may know Sri and I already from our monthly Ascension Energy Forecast predictions that we put out right here at YouTube at Official Sri and Kira. You might also know us from our radio shows at onenesstalkradio.com. But today we're here to talk to you about something really important.
The Crystalline Ascension Symptoms are a new manifestation of the energies of these times, and they've been coming in and surrounding all beings who are awakening, and it's time to talk about them in more detail.
Well, you know, we've been putting out Ascension Symptoms for 15 years, and as a matter of fact, at the end of this video, you'll have an opportunity to watch last year's video again and another video we selected, because we are at a moment right now where the symptoms are refining. This year's symptoms have a very different experience to them, and so it's important. Tell us what you're feeling. Dialogue with us. We really do try to get involved in the chat. We understand what you're going through, because it seems that our mission has been to go through these about a year at a time ahead of releasing them. And so we are grateful that you're here. We honor your journey, and I think we should dive right into this.
Absolutely, because what's on us right now is unlike times before. We're talking parallel timelines and multiple dimensional experiences.
Exactly.
Here we go.
So we have, first of all, I just want you to know, we have all these written down, and if you go to our website, shriandkira.com, all year long in 2019, as soon as you hit our homepage, you will see this. The video will also be posted there. Get and download the PDF. Listen to this video more than once. Stay through the end of this video, because all of this matters. So let's just really talk about that. You know, some of us have a predisposition to the way we experience these symptoms, and I think that that's important to recognize, because each of you is having your experience of the symptoms we're giving you right now, and we're going to go through each one in detail.
Because as you reflect back on your journey of spiritual awakening, there have been times when things are heightened, when there's certain body cry outs, so to speak.
And mind and ego, right?
And so these various symptomologies or signals that the energy is being connected with, these are not report cards. These do not indicate your level of attainment. They simply demonstrate that you're on your path.
And if you're watching this video, we know you're already having these experiences. And if you came here to find out how freaky we are, welcome to the show. Because one of the things that we really work with through the yoga of self-ascension is radical authenticity. And so radical authenticity means Sri and I are just going to tell you what's going on, and we really don't care a whole bunch about the outside influence. We're just going to stay focused on authenticity and share this with you guys straight up. So here's the deal. I think the first thing you need to remember is that, and I mentioned this already, all of the previous symptoms still apply.
Yes,
it's
and
not
there's a lot of them.
There are. Go back and watch all of our videos. I think you and I have been some of the pioneers. I think we were actually the first people to start putting these out. We have been working with these symptoms personally for 17 years, putting them out for over 15. So this year, remember, 2019 is the year of navigating divine awareness. Now, divine awareness means it's a year of anchoring crystalline mastery. It's a year of ratcheting it up a notch, because when we arrive at awareness, we arrive at mastery. So the very first symptom is a power-filled one, because it's ascended Kundalini awakening. Now check that out, guys. This is a secondary Kundalini awakening, a secondary one.
This is sort of like the core energy, and all the other symptoms relate to the fact that this is occurring. Now, in an earthly sense, we all know that the Kundalini energy, in the traditional sense, starts at the root chakra, goes up, opens the higher centers. Well, that's the first 7 chakras.
Right.
Your ascended chakra system goes well beyond.
And it's called the Divine Galactic Blueprint. We're actually popping up a picture of that right now. If you look at this Divine Galactic Blueprint, that begins when you ignite what we call the joy portal through your ascension awakening. And so that is the Divine Galactic Blueprint. It is the 12-pointed ascended chakra system that is the Kundalini experience. And as you weave up those 12 points, this is an ascended Kundalini. So imagine that if you've already had a Kundalini awakening or a Kundalini or experience with your density body, now you're ratcheting that up to ignite your Divine Galactic Blueprint. Now, that brings us to what we call this joy portal. Yeah. And so the joy portal begins, and it's part of the pyramid of spiritual awakening. And we're popping this picture up right now for you as well.
So the joy portal is really that center place in your beingness where you are lined up with your authentic energy and all is well.
Right.
And when we line up with our joy portal, we're able to lift in the way that is natural for us, for our journey. And when we're outside of the joy portal, meaning we're engaging the outer world more, we're more in density or other various strata,
right,
we're going to have other kinds of experiences that may remind you, I'm not in my joy.
And as long as you stay in that joy portal, and this is the authenticity, that joy of authenticity, you can navigate third dimension, fifth dimension, seventh dimension, ninth dimension, which is what you're reflecting in this video and what you're seeing. So let's continue, because this Kundalini, this ascended Kundalini experience is what this joy portal is inviting you to encounter and lift you up. So let's get to number 2. So this is a powerful one, and this one can be a fascinating ride. And number 2 is this heightened sense of others. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're in a room and suddenly you're like, oh my God, am I hearing their thoughts? Or how, oh my God, what am I feeling? This is beyond empathy.
Yes.
This is beyond just that kind of normal precognition. This is your honest to God, like, wow, I should not be listening to this kind of thing. This is actually training that you have arrived, and you're going to see, we're going to put up a little diagram right now. You have arrived into the 5th dimension. If you are in this heightened sense of awareness, then in the 5th dimension, we begin, and this is the early phases of the 5th dimension. This is part of allowing ourselves to lift into being the witnesser. And so in this early part of the 5th dimension, and anchoring there, you have this expanded oneness, and part of that is that you start experiencing literally the dissolution of the one mind, or of separate mind, and the introduction of one mind. This is a mastery moment because it is teaching you not to be invasive. It is teaching you to keep going. This is where a lot of people will derail and get stuck because they're going to think that they need to start telling people what they're seeing and hearing. That's actually a sign of going backwards in the spiral. So remember, this is a mastery moment to call in, respect, honor, give gratitude, and keep going.
Just because you hear, sense, or know something doesn't mean you engage it. We just keep going.
Exactly.
It's part of the environment.
Exactly. And that brings us to number 3.
Adaptation to spiral experiences due to the multi-dimensional adjustments.
This is a big one, and I know a lot of you are going, oh yeah.
The sense of being in a spiraling energy portal is one of the qualities of this experience. And when we have this, it can be a little bit disorienting. It also can be a little bit exciting.
Yes, it can be very, and here's the key. This is not what has been going on in the past. When you watch our other Ascension Symptom videos, you know, there was that sense of vertigo, right? This is an actual adaptation to being in this spiral energy all the time, meaning that it no longer affects you to be dizzy, but you're aware of this spiraling. And remember that we can spiral up, we can spiral down, and we can just spiral. So this is a conscious connection to your multi-dimensional adaptation, because remember, we are being invited, all of us, to anchor up into the 9th dimension. All right, let's continue. Number 4. This is, I think I should talk about this.
Yeah, I love this one. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. This is energy OCD. Okay. Now, how many of you are giggling going, wait a minute, what did you say?
OCD?
Okay. This is energy OCD. Now, what this is actually a sign that you have anchored outside of the 5th dimension, that you are actually now having and carrying active 7th dimensional presence. And what energy OCD is you walk into a room and you're immediately, acutely aware that something's off. And this isn't about like, it's just, you know, something has shifted. And it's about paying attention to objects in the room that might say the grid anchor that I am holding, or the point that I am holding in your energy grid. Because remember, this goes back to everything in your house. You know, like look at our little altar here, okay? Before we got on today, we made sure what would support this energy. Everything is radiating with an energy, and sometimes you need to reposition what is with what to be aligned with the frequencies that are moving through you. This can happen hourly. I've had those experiences. It can happen once a day. It can happen once a week. It can kind of hang out for a month. But the key is that this energy OCD can be very, very challenging at first if you're around people that are not at the same level of consciousness. And that's important because they can see you as being like, you know, a freak or compulsive, or maybe that you're too clean, or you don't, when what they don't understand is that you're actually adapting to being able to be a creator of grid energy.
You know, a good example is my beloved Kira sits down at her desk to work, and before beginning the work, she might arrange the objects, the sacred objects, the crystals, whatever's on her desk, so that those grid energies are supportive of the activity. And there's a sensitivity if it's out of whack. And now, you might know that you're entering this ascension symptom if you have a certain sense of anxiety.
Right.
Something's not quite right. And so that's why we want to share this. It may mean we just need to rotate or shift how things are arranged.
Yeah, and that's okay, but the key is you will get through this. So once you understand what's happening around this, then the key is to relax into it. I will admit early on I was like, why am I doing, like there would be this part of me that's like, why am I constantly doing this? And when I finally relaxed into it, what I got was the information as to why and what energies were starting to come up. It became almost as if I was channeling the energy of the grid itself. And so this is a very powerful energy, and I strongly encourage you to pay attention to it. And again, these are all unique symptoms this year because we're in such a unique moment. So it brings us to number 5. This is a really big one too.
Okay.
This is a big one.
A sense of being out of body.
But
now,
tall.
This is out of body in another body, so to speak.
Like you really have gone up to, this is my little one, but you've got all the way up here to the 9th, and you've become the witness again, meaning that, I was sharing with Sri the other day, this happens to me a lot when I'm cooking, and I think it's because I'm so focused and I carry so much energy into the food when I'm cooking it, but I'll be standing there stirring a pot, and I am very aware, and always ask, for me it's 22 feet tall, I'm very aware I'm 22 feet tall, and I'm very aware that I'm in the 9th dimension coming down into the 3rd, but there's no, it's like there's no need to remember separation. Because you're in that experience.
You're having a dual or multiple experience. The physical body's doing what it's doing. The awareness is aware that I am much more than this form.
And it's very much like, you know, like even as I'm sitting here with you right now, I'm trying to call that energy forward so that I can try and demonstrate it for you. And it's a very, oftentimes your back will feel straighter, and it's this sense of like you have just come up out of your body, and that there is this wave of love energy, but yet there is this, whoa, I'm not in my body, yet you're witnessing your body working just fine. So this is a very powerful symptom. It is a full 3rd to 9th dimension connection where it is very much the I am. I call it the melting into the 9th dimensional I am, and it's just a oneness. And this is a very powerful one. So if you're having these senses of being out of body and you're not feeling comfortable, you're just still adapting. But be reassured you are doing it, okay? All right, this brings us to the rest of these physical adaptations. Now, we have a ton of physical adaptations here. What are physical adaptations? It means that your body is going, oh my God, what's happening, right?
Yeah. Well, the first one that is always going to be an itchy one are the itis symptoms. The tendinitis, bursitis, those kinds of things.
You know, any type of arthritis, anything that feels itis-y, right? And it really is the itis symptoms. Now, this also includes sore feet. Very sore feet for no reason. And so this is a powerful, it's because think about the energy.
Energy is flowing through the meridians, and your tendons and connective tissues are the denser tissues in your body. Your bones and your tendons and cartilage.
Think about it.
So they are going to resist these frequencies longer than the soft tissues. So that's why you have the irritating feeling.
Sacred yoga, sacred yoga. If you have our app, go get our app, Sri and Kira, Spiritual Mastery with Sri and Kira. It's at the Apple Store, Google, whatever, all devices. Get our app, Sacred Yoga. Do the Sacred Yoga program. It really works. Okay, next is, fatigue. But this is a crossover symptom. We want to talk about this.
This isn't just tiredness. This is a sense of I've been working kind of fatigue.
Yeah, it's very much about this sense of I'm anchoring in this multidimensional presence. I'm just tired, you know, and you're tired on a lot of levels because think about it, you're exercising a lot right now. You've got how many years of working in 3D down, right? Got my diploma. Then you've been working with the 5th dimension, not that long, relatively speaking, and all of a sudden we're being invited up to the 9th because things are escalating. You're tired, but this is a crossover symptom. It's not real, and you need to really own that. Otherwise, you're going to get lots of labels: fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I had tons of doctors trying to put those labels on me over the past couple of years. None of that was real. It was adaptation, and I finally had to get to the point of remembering none of that was real when it finally released. So I can share with you, I've been on this journey, and there is another side, and when you get there, it's wonderful and it's exhilarating, but the way you get there is by owning the fact that that's an illusion and seeing it for what it is, a way to stop you. And that's all it is. It's a crossover symptom. It's not real.
Well, any of these symptoms can trigger the mind of density and bring in fear, and that's a good time to take that breath and come back into the joy portal and see it for what it is.
Absolutely. So then it brings us to the vision. Oh my gosh, right? If you go back and watch all of our others, we've been talking about vision forever.
Vision's been going on forever, and whether it's the blurriness, the side of the eyes, or the waterfall geometrical kind of
like a silvery color, and I usually see pyramids, and sometimes I see squares and almost what looks
geometric
like a
shapes.
Geometric design. But that's very much a going through the portal type of experience. That's all that's happening, is you're being adjusted into multidimensional vision. So, but I would say compared to other years, these might feel more extreme. These vision shifts. All right. Inner burning, big one. All right.
Temperature.
Yeah, but regulation, like these swift fluctuations in temperature. But this is not hot flashes. I don't want you guys to think I'm talking about that. I'm not. This is an inner, like literally a burning, like you feel the violet flame of transformation running through you. And when this happens, I do call forward the violet flame, and I feel myself just standing in it and say thank you. These are purges. These are electrical purges. These are energetic purges. And if you are receiving them, it's because you need to purge. So let it go. Let it go. Drink more water.
Bring the energy from the feet up.
Exactly.
Up. Yep. And one of the things that we've been noticing is many people have had the harmonic sounds in their ears.
And we've talked about the ringing in the ears.
What's happened recently is the pitch has shifted, and the duration, the intensity, it's like a constant background harmonic saying you're in a different environment.
And I'm also experiencing it, the way I like to describe it is like if you're underwater and your ears filled with water, I'm feeling that a lot. As a matter of fact, there's times when I'm sure there is water in my ears. I'm just feeling this very strong energy, and it feels like an energetic bath. And I just want to stop right here and say, please, with all of our heart and soul, you can also find this on our website, please be doing the Cosmic Portal practice.
Oh, yes.
And in this year of 2019, this will help your ascension symptoms. We have a whole video on how to do it. Just go to shrinkira.com, right on the homepage, watch it.
And one of the things in the head symptoms also are odd headaches.
Yeah, not normal headaches.
No, it might be localized. That peer areas are evolving.
The other day I had a headache literally just right here. And it was very conducive with other things that were happening. So, and again, we just want to say, as we have said on all of our videos, certainly these are not substitutions for any. If you think you have a physical symptom that needs to see a doctor or needs medical attention, get medical attention.
Yes, by all means.
Find out, because unless your mind can really relax into knowing there's nothing wrong with you according to density, then you can't ever fully relax and walk through your ascension symptoms either, because the doubt will always hold you back. So I just want to really make that known. All right, so let's talk to the longer fingers. This is a big one, or a heightened sense of energy. So in this moment right now, if you were to look at your hands and just feel them, move your fingers, and this is why we do quantum clairvoyance classes and learn how to MERP and enter the quantum field with our fingers. But notice if you do this right now, and just relax your breath. How long are your fingers really? How long are they really, right? Notice that. Some people are noticing a little bit of physical growth in their hands. Some are just feeling it. The other thing is, if you were to take your fingers like this, notice, the way I like to describe it is like you're just feeling rays of light coming out of your hands, becoming more acutely aware of that, wiggling the fingers more. There is a lot happening here because we are all entering a heightened state of what I like to call crystalline healing power, crystalline healing light. So there is a lot of hand changes happening.
It's not just energy flowing, it's a sense of my fingers, my hands are actually bigger than this physicality.
Exactly. And like Shri also was having some trigger finger because he had so much energy running through. So one of the things that he started doing is, and I share with you, rings with specific energies are very important. Now we personally use Vedic stones, and so like I know that a vintage hessonite on this finger, this right here on my left hand, this pointer finger helps me. I know that a Shiva eye on my right hand helps me. I know that amethyst on my middle finger with the Om helps me. And these, I mean, these are all at mollusforascension.com. But all I'm saying is, regardless, if your hands are hurting, if you're having a hard time creating with your hands, you need to think about wearing some rings for the energetic. I mean, it helps that they're beautiful, but they will help this energy. And practice, practice, practice. If you've taken quantum clairvoyance, burp, get into the quantum field, use your hands or the energy's going to get stuck this year. Very, very important. Okay. Physical growth. Big one.
Now this can be in different areas of the body. Where
all over. It could be height. It could be everything.
Some people reported that they feel like their skull is actually growing, or other body parts are adapting or responding in some way to the energy. And this is of course unique to each being.
Exactly.
We all have a legacy in our DNA, etc. And now we are moving into the cosmic crystalline expression. So like all of these, it's important to kind of, oh, isn't this fun?
Yeah.
I'm ascending, I'm lifting.
So here's another one that some of you are probably already experiencing. And I have to admit, when this one first started with me, I was kind of concerned at first until I finally understood what was happening. And it's what I call dreamless dreaming. I have not remembered a dream of this world in at least 6 months. And I recently met a friend of mine who's been in the same process for 2 years. And so what this dreamless dreaming is this conscious recognition that you are absolutely in another dimension during your sleep space here. This is not about REM. Remember that REM sleep is for the mind of this body. REM sleep, because people say, oh, you got to have REM, you got to do this. Yeah, your body, your physical body, but if you have adapted into your multidimensional overlay, then the dreamless dream is actually feeding your sustenance of the multidimensional experience, and thereby the lack or the perception that you're not getting the kind of sleep you need has shifted. And so I will share with you that this dreamless dream state is nothing to worry about. Conversely, if you are having robust dreaming in the third dimension, pay attention because it's showing you the gateway to anchoring your multidimensional presence as well. So this whole dreamless dreaming energy, very potent for the divine awareness of 2019.
Ask for the information to be shared consciously.
Exactly.
And do not be attached.
And wake up and journal. Even if you think you haven't dreamed, you might wake up and go, but I didn't have a dream. Maybe you were having a multidimensional anchorship moment.
Oftentimes information comes in, but it's pre-words. So by writing, you bring it through.
Give it a voice. All right.
Acute awareness includes a knowing that accompanies this sense of past, present, future, an intuitive expansion.
Now, the way that I've been described this, it's hard for me to even talk about it, but this acute awareness is like a moment where you feel like you've been frozen in time. How do I describe this? I was sharing it with Shri that one of the ways this often comes in for me is I'll be walking into another room, and there's a microsecond. It's like the step between the step, you know, as you've got one foot down and you're putting your next foot down. In that moment between the step, I've lived an entire experience. I'm aware of a past, present, future experience and how it happened and why it happened. And then it's like I put my foot down and I'm back in the room, yet with full conscious recall of this. And so obviously, this is part of that ninth dimensional integration. It's that recognition of, it's a knowing. It's the only way that we can describe that. That's why Shri keeps saying knowing. But it's a hyper-awareness. It's
hyper-awareness.
Active awareness.
Beyond this linear timeline, beyond this density flow. So it's outside of the way your mind normally takes in data.
All right. Now, number 9 is just such a beautiful
It's a sweet one. This involves greater communication, connecting, understanding of animals and the beings on our planet, especially your pets.
Well, and this is direct, okay? So this is, let me share with this. And as a matter of fact, here, we're just going to insert a little clip of me speaking with our brand new bird that just showed up.
Chelita. 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 Chelita.
So as you saw in that little clip, what was happening is what we're referring to here. Whereas I actually understand what this bird is saying, and I'm having a much easier time repeating the exact speak, so to speak, the bird speak. And that's what's happening on our planet right now with all animals. Shri and I have 4 dogs, a cat, a bird, and any other animal that walks on the property. But so certainly we have an affinity with them. However, what's happening right now is more than just when the animals show up. I'll give you an example. The other day we had a bat. And here's a picture of this beautiful little bat. And as you're staring at this little bat, its precious little face is in the sidewalk. You're seeing those beautiful ears and everything right now. Well, what had happened was our gardener had been spraying water on a rock wall, and the water got to the bat. And when I went downstairs, I clearly heard, "Don't hurt me." And I was like, "Of course we're not going to hurt you." And he was scared. He was terrified. And he was very clearly communicating that. Now, Shri and I took care of that, and we made sure that we got the bat moved and that it was safe. But this type of feeling the feelings, understanding what they're saying, and being able to have almost what feels like a human conversation with animals is new, and it's going to get bigger. Now, this is because you need to go beyond, like let's say, the condors show up, or you have other animals that show up.
This is beyond interpretation of sightings.
This is not, right, it's not about getting online and going, "Oh, what does that animal mean?" No, it's about what is the communication you are directly having with this animal, and let go of what somebody else tells you that animal means. And this is a moment where the animals in 2019, the entire animal kingdom, and I'm including everything, reptiles, insects, this is the generic, every single being is going to be speaking, and you have the opportunity to really hear, understand, and communicate if you want. Now, this one has a caveat. In order to reach that level, you need to be vegetarian or vegan, because if you're not, then you don't have the layer of safety that allows this direct communication to open between these channels. But hearing these beings is part of your ascension mastery, and it can only happen at these higher dimensional levels. So if you're having this heightened communication with animals, you are definitely anchoring in at the higher multidimensional frequencies.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, number 10.
Number 10, unexplained sadness.
Yeah.
Also with an additional fatigue.
Right.
It's kind of like letting go of the wish that you could help everyone. This sense of, I want to help, but I need to accept that everyone's getting their needs met. And this is kind of moving into a different order of compassion.
It's like an ascension grief. and what we mean by that is, because you are anchoring, because you are ascending, this kind of unexplained sadness is actually a release of grief from the old tissues and the old ways of being. It's just a sense of realizing that things really are changing, and as that happens, it's like you're shedding the emotion-soaked coat of the yesteryear. It's like all of the drama that fueled chaos in your life is leaving, and so if you're feeling this unexplained sadness, you're actually releasing. Let it go, let it go, let it go. It's not a bad thing. Don't be afraid of it. Witness it. Go above it. All right, number 10, number 11. This is one. Wow, this is a big one. Yeah.
Questioning or re-questioning your sanity. Now, even those of you who have been on the journey for a while and have already got this sense that I moved through the doubt and insecurities and I've arrived, may find that you're waking up again.
Yeah.
And thereby, with your ascended Kundalini lifting and things are shifting and your experience is shifting, the mind might step in and go, what's going on? Am I okay?
And Shri and I want to share with you, in our radical authenticity, I have been questioning my own sanity the past several months, and I'm grateful that came upon me, because what it is the universe's way of saying, where are you going to trust? You're going to keep free falling into trust with your universal expansion, hence these ascension symptoms, and we're grateful that you stayed through the entire video. Or are you going to say, oh my God, I'm going insane, this can't be right? That's why we're putting out this video. You are not insane. You are waking up. If you need medical attention, get medical attention. And then once you've assisted your mind to recognize that you're on a journey that defies, remember, 2019, right now, we are all time jumping. We are all shifting through timelines very quickly. You are moving into these parallel dimensional experiences. Where you anchor will be your choice. And this is the year of divine awareness. So the symptoms are crystalline, the symptoms are ascending, and the symptoms are rarefied. And as we mentioned in the beginning, everybody's going to have their own way of experiencing them.
Yes.
So letting go of judgment, good place to start.
Absolutely, because if your point of reference is only in the outer world, you're going to be whipsawed. But when we open our point of reference to our heart and our ascended guidance, we will be lifted and we will be safe. Namaste.